Wonderful day, wonderful day, wonderful day. This is your neighborhood sensei Fouché telling all y'all stay woke. But relax, relax, and take notes. One thing that I wanted to cover for a minute and that I speak of a lot and I've been questioned in regards to is what we label disappointment. And a lot of people are let down by, things that they, believe in that don't occur. And, that's human. And just to be specific, we are going to define disappointment. Disappointment, sadness, it's a noun because it's a thing, it's a feeling. A feeling is a thing. Sadness or displeasure caused by the non-fulfillment of one's hopes or expectations. A person, event, or thing that causes disappointment. So that was a definition under a definition. Our main definition is going to read sadness or displeasure caused by the non-fulfillment of one's hopes or expectations. So, let's define expectations, right? What are expectations? Because disappointment is caused by lack of expectations or non-fulfillment of one's hopes, which would kind of line into what that definition specifically represents. So, in the philosophy, to define expectation, it states, in the case of uncertainty, expectation is what is considered the most likely thing to happen. You think that a specific hope or wish to happen. An expectation, which is a belief that is centered on the future. And, we've been covering in the Power of Now about being in a future thought in relation to the past. But right now they're covering the future, and trust me, this does tie into the past. An expectation, which is a belief that is centered on the future, may or may not be realistic. A less advantageous result gives rise to the emotion of disappointment. If something happens that is not at all expected, it is a surprise. An expectation about the behavior or performance of another person expressed to that person may have the nature of a strong request or an order. This kind of expectation is called a social norm. The degree to which something is expected to be true can be expressed using fuzzy logic. Anticipation is the emotion corresponding to expectation. So you hope for someone to do something that you request as a desire or a need. You, upon the request you believe in respect of what is labeled a relationship, being that you believe in the trade-off or the equal value represented in what a relationship should incorporate, there builds what we call anticipation, which is you are in high hope, and we'll go into that word just to get specific. Anticipation is an emotion involving pleasure or anxiety in considering or awaiting an expected event. Anticipatory emotions include fear, anxiety, hope, and trust. I was about to use that word, trust, if I didn't say it, but it's recorded. So either I did or I didn't, but I did just now. When the anticipated event fails to occur, it results in disappointment or relief. A negative one, because you're displeased. So again, when you being that the anticipation wound up not happening, then you go into what is labeled as disappointment, which is the cycle of anger or resentment. And that's a feeling based on the simple word or the hope, the anticipation of an expectation, a desire, a need, or a want. So when you, and that's going to deal mostly in how you label relationships and the processing of people as a whole in your connection to understanding relationships. And I've been frustrated many of times and disappointed many of times, and have been so external in my showing of that disappointment that I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's when I go into our topic of title, change the expectation, eliminate the disappointment, right? If you change how you think of the follow through of your request, then you change the displeasure or the disappointment. Either you expected for someone not to follow through, or what difference does it make? Because being that they didn't follow through, you know now what they will not do or what they don't assert or apply themselves into being honest within the construct of having a relationship. So just in simple terms, you know that you can't trust them. And then in the knowing, you don't have to repeat the same cycle, because you should not continue to believe or even give request knowing that the probability of that person not coming through is extremely high. Or the other thought would be, hey, I need this. I would like to have help. I don't need it. The help would get it done sooner. So if I ask this person, I hope for them to do it. But if they don't do it, then I don't plan on dealing with them again. I know that they wouldn't do something in humble honesty, in a consistency. So at least I know, because on the back end I was gonna do it anyway. But someone made a available option for their services to be available for assistance. So I decided to follow through and ask or desire for their assistance that they said was available. But, either and or, if they don't follow through, and I'm not worried about it on the back end because I was going to do it anyway, then why should I even be mad about it? You know what I'm saying? I was going to do it anyway, and they didn't do it. I saved myself, the future unawareness and not knowing whether they're people that follow through or hold to their word, or in the opposite of knowing that they're people that aren't able to commit. And if they are, and they do follow through, then of course that tells me that their trust can be followed through in future availability upon my request, and them letting me be aware that they're available to assist in anything that I may need to ask or require. So, my thing is, and I heard a long time ago someone used the reference, I could do bad by myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, if you can't help me, you know what I'm saying, then I'll figure out how to help myself. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't follow through and be true to your word, then that just tells me like, yo, I can't, rely on you ever. If I can't rely on you for something specific, honestly, because you could have just told me like, yeah, I really can't do it. I wish I could, but if you, maybe in another time I'll be able to. And if you follow through with that, so be it. If you keep on in the same direction of, not this time, then, that tells me that you're unreliable. And then when you say, hey man, if you ever need anything, just let me know. I'm like, nah, man, save that. Every time you tell me that, man, you never follow through. So I'm not mad about it, man. I ain't even gonna worry about it. Like, you don't even have to, play like you want to help me or help somebody. If you ain't that helpful person, then don't be that helpful person. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to try to prove nothing to me or try to, massage my ego and play something that you not. Just fall in line with who you are, and then I could just treat you for who you are. Nah, man, I don't want you to feel a certain kind of way. Well, it is what it is, right? Because if I'm going to feel different, then you have to, follow through in a different direction. And like I said, I ain't even mad about it. But I have decisions to make based on your broken promises or your lack of follow through. So if you don't follow through, then you can't be upset on the other end of me making decisions based on the fact that I know that I can't count on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm like, change the expectation, eliminate the disappointment. How do you change the expectation? Eliminate the disappointment. You change the expectation, you eliminate the disappointment. I don't have no time to be disappointed. If I confuse that in, and speak in the title, I will correct myself again. You change the expectation, you eliminate the disappointment. If you somebody that I know isn't reliable and you say you're going to do something, I'm probably not going to count on for it to be done. I'm going to walk into the situation thereafter feeling as if that's something that I need to accomplish because I expect for you not to follow through. And if you do, then I'm surprised. And I'm gratefully happy that you actually kept by your word. And isn't that what it said in the definition that we gave to anticipation, right? Anticipation is an emotion involving pleasure or anxiety in considering or awaiting an expected event. Anticipatory emotions include fear, anxiety, hope, and trust. When the anticipated event fails to occur, it results in disappointment for a positive event or relief for a negative one. So, in those cases, like I said, you can't be to eliminate the fact of continuously being angry of people not following through. Change your thought process into knowing that they're not people that are going to follow through. You can't count on them. So if you can't count on them, then you can't be disappointed about them actually not doing what they say they're going to do. So again, change the expectation, eliminate the disappointment. Because once you change your mind frame into knowing that you can't count on them, then you have no reason to be disappointed because it was expected. So really think about that. You know what I'm saying? You do not have to ever be stressed. If you are a very assertive person, you know what I'm saying? Don't even worry about what people aren't doing. You know what you are going to do. You know what I'm saying? And if they aren't able to assist you, that's just more gravy to me on top of the potatoes because, I already know what type of, how you roll. So then I ain't going to deal with you. And then other people that actually opens up the opportunity for someone else to present themselves as true as opposed to still holding on to someone and something as far as a belief that I know is not going to follow through. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to let that go once I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But once you start holding on to the idea that maybe, this time it'll be different, like you the one that set yourself up more than the other person, knowing that the consistency flows in the direction of non-follow through. So, change the expectation, eliminate the disappointment. Simple as that. You don't ever have to be stressed and worried about people that aren't about it. It's more about you being about it than them not being about it. So focus on you being about it. And that is the expectation that you should hold on to. Because are you going to disappoint yourself by the expectations you hold yourself to? Because if you don't follow through on your expectations, then you're going to be disappointed in yourself. But I'm pretty sure, most people aren't. And if they do, then they fall into the line of misery and always absorbing people's energy because they lack the fortitude to be assertive in following through in accomplishing their life sustainability. And in that case, that's on them to deal with them. And if you happen to be around or related or in some kind of connection with them, then those are the kind of people that you cannot associate with, and you have to fall back into how you deal with them moving forward. Because they're not reliable to themselves, so they definitely aren't going to be reliable for you. So you got to fall back and let that, you know what I'm saying, do what it do. Because if you hold on to that anvil, that weight, and have it tied to your ankle, and you trying to, you know what I'm saying, jog forward, you ain't doing no jogging, you doing more dragging than jogging. That's for sure. So you got to figure out how to shake that loose, because you already know what an anchor does. When you hold on to an anchor, it is going to hold you back. It is going to drag you. The more weight that it carries, the harder it is to proceed forward. So again, to end this conversation, the easiest way to eliminate the stress, as we would call it, of other people is realize what actually is. Live in the present. You could use the past as a reference to what probably will happen, but in the present, what is the probability that they're going to follow through, being that they never followed through before? So you could change the future by dealing with the now, because of what you know of what always happened before. It's that simple. This is your neighborhood sensei Fouché, telling all y'all stay woke, but relax. Please relax. And make sure you take notes. And make sure that y'all be smooth and be aware, and make sure what your expectations are, because depending on what your expectations are, you are the controller of the level of disappointment. 1.